finally the doors power scaling video yet again that you have been waiting for, but it's gonna be a little different from the other one. Basically, what I'm gonna do is instead of power scaling, I'm just gonna go over Figure and his stuff, and also go over the massive misconceptions, like the fact that Figure beats Seek, which is horribly wrong because Seek outscales and has better hacks. He also outspeeds, but let's get into that later. And also I'm going to be debunking horrible arguments, on top of the fact I'm going to be scaling a Figure instead of just one feat like I did last time. Now let's go in depth into Figure and why he's decently strong. Okay, so first off, let's start off with this feat. Basically, Figure just crushes and kills the Giggle just into pieces. Now you might be thinking, hold up, that feat is incredible because obviously it's coming from a modded version. Well, technically no, because this isn't the actual game, it's just a very rare moment. But yes, if he actually does that, you have to first of all calculate the force. Sadly, there's no value or tensile strength of Giggle's skin, which is why I had to make a assumption that this was the same energy as dismemberment or something. But I actually got a calculation that is kind of similar to the value, because what I did was basically scale Giggle's AP, use it for his durability, and then use it for his limbs and the fact that it was dismembered. Yeah, I'm just gonna show you the calculation. So basically, I'm just gonna do calculator for this because of how simple it is. Basically, 500,000 joules is the energy of the elevator flash combined with some other factors that I didn't mention, and he can do about 35%, meaning that we do is 35% to get this 335,000 joules. Now that is times 5 to get 1 million joules of energy. This is just wall level. So yeah, I have a decent wall level feat. And moving on to the next feat. Basically, another feat he has is busting the generator. He basically disables the generator. Now, the problem with this feat is that disabling the generator totally depends on the power it houses, because it doesn't knock out any of the lights, but it powers a big door. Now, its kinetic energy is really what we have to go off of, and then we have to convert into watts, and then use seconds to get the total amount of energy. But this really isn't gonna be good since it was a very small amount of time. This is literally a street plus level feat. Can be replicated with an axe probably. This is not an important short mention. For his more important feats, you can one shot the player, which everybody has seen it, but I'm just going to show it. Also, another feat, Figure can casually decapitate people, rip people's heads off and limbs. So that would be street plus to wall level. He does this very violently, and it would be straight up wall level. Now this is class 25 lifting strength as well, because ripping off limbs is class 25, and ripping off the head will take pretty much the same amount of force, meaning that he also has class 25 lifting strength. This is really one of his best feats for lifting strength. Is just generally just ripping off the limbs. Obviously, for attack potency, he just one-shots the player, which literally is just the most simple calculation you ever have to see. Just look at this. So you take 500,000 and multiply it by 7.5 to get 3,750,000, or you take 500,000 and multiply it by 10 to get 5 million, which is wall-to-wall plus. Now you might be thinking, hold up, didn't you scale him to small building level? Well, dear viewer, yes, and that is because there is actually many things that figure scales to. Because one thing that people don't like to use a lot is the fact that figure would scale above many entities and many of their feats. For a example, figure also has a better version of this feat, as you can actually get the elevator crash to the wall plus, which then gets his attack potency, therefore it's a small building level. I'm just going to show you the kinetic energy simply just because the elevator crash is actually a pretty decent feat. I'm gonna convert it into force first of all because that's easier, and then force applied is across the entire elevator, obviously because the elevator is meant to be that way. So I'm just gonna show you the calculation, and it's actually going to be not on Gemini for the first time, and I need to hurry up so I can clear up the misconceptions. So yeah, here's the calc. Basically, I did Newton's force with the gravity of the Earth because the elevator was falling. And yes, the weight of the elevator can be that much using some estimates I got. Then, obviously, we got 1 point that many newtons. You can read this formula. And the reason why I picked 2.5 meters is because the surface area of the elevator is approximately that much. Not just its length, its actual dimensions, its width and all that. And the player should tank the full force because it logically that makes the most sense. And yeah, that got to 4,000,000 joules of energy, which gets figured after the one shot's difference to small building level, or 0.8089 tons of TNT. Now to address some debunks to Seek. Finally, I want to address the argument of Seek being door level. This is not true because, first of all, it's guiding light that locks the doors behind nowadays, and Seek bangs to try to break through, but guiding light is obviously stronger than Seek. Secondly, this is just a bad argument overall because, again, guiding light is the one that is stopping him, not the door itself, because Seek could easily break through the door because there's a lot of evidence suggesting otherwise. This was power scaling figure and debunking arguments for Seek. See you next time.